The chief leaned in close and whispered one word, "Wrong." Then he immediately flipped the bed. For the third time in a row, Nick didn't know what he did. He didn't know how to fix it this time, but the real lesson wasn't about the bed. It was about something more important, on this episode of The Quiet Warrior. Earlier that day, Nick had come to the realization that boot camp wasn't designed to just make him strong. It was designed to break him, and make him recognize how his actions could impact everyone around him. After Nick arrived, the days stopped feeling like days at all. They just blurred. Up before dawn, run. Shower in seconds. Chow so fast you barely taste it. Then, class, firefighting prep, first aid, tourniquets, pressure, airway, stay calm. Although he never held someone else's life in his hands before, he was unusually good at first aid. However, Nick didn't have a chance to revel in his class success. The schedule changed too quickly. Before he knew it, they were running again. Then drill. His legs ached so badly he couldn't tell which muscle hurt anymore. Boot camp didn't just exhaust him, it stripped him down, inside and out. But what Nick didn't realize yet was that it was also teaching him how much his actions mattered. One afternoon, the division was marched into a dark, smoke-choked training bay for a fire drill. The heat hit instantly, thick and suffocating. Like walking blindly into an oven. Sweat rolled down Nick's spine before they even reached the hose. Hose team, take your positions. Nozzleman up front. Nick dropped to one knee, gloves trembling as he gripped the heavy rubber hose. Jesus slid behind him as backup, boots slipping on the wet steel deck. Stand by for pressure. Lock in, lock in. The hose kicked alive the moment water surged through it in a violent jolt that nearly tore it from Nick's hands. Cold water blasted the heated bulkhead, exploding into steam that hissed around their helmets. Nick's shoulders screamed. Wrists throbbed. For a split second, Nick felt the hose start to win. His grip slipped despite the gloves. Hold that line. Back up, close the gap. Jesus shouted behind him, breathless but trying to sound upbeat. Dig in, Saint Nick. Before this thing launches us next to the penguins in Antarctica. Nick didn't laugh. But the odd joke somehow helped keep him steady. Around them, other teams fought their hoses, shouting commands into the haze. Boots skidded. The simulated smoke drifted low across the deck. Nick drove his knee harder into the floor, muscles shaking as he battled the recoil. Finally, the whistle blew. Nick lowered the nozzle, arms trembling uncontrollably. An instructor walked past and tapped the hose with his boot. If that bulkhead were actually on fire, Cole, it would have cooked you way past a well-done ribeye, son. Reset. Nick didn't answer. He couldn't, his arms were jelly. The instructor pointed. Switch it up, Cole, move to hoseman. You're the anchor this round. Martinez, you're nozzleman. Set. Nick moved to the back. Pressure surged again, the hose whipped. But this time, Nick braced low, locking the line with everything he had. That's it, Cole. You're the anchor, stabilize the team. Keep them safe, no matter what. The words hid deeper than the hose ever could. With each day that passed, Nick was learning the truth. A sailor's actions could mean the difference between keeping your team alive, or losing them. Boot camp wasn't about keeping his own head above water anymore. It was about keeping his brothers and sisters safe, no matter the cost to himself. When the drill ended, Jesus nudged Nick's helmet. Bro, I think my ancestors felt that one. Nick managed a breathless laugh. Then the RDCs shouted for formation. Boot camp didn't give you time to recover. Not from firefighting, not from anything. That night, things took a turn. After evening chow, a different RDC stormed into the barracks with a clipboard. Silence snapped across the room. No one really knew this officer, so everyone immediately paid closer attention. Inspection failed, he said flatly. You know what that means. Every recruit stiffened. RDCs didn't have to yell to be terrifying. He walked down the aisle, boots echoing, until he stopped at Nick's bunk. Nick's rack was perfect. He spent 15 precious minutes on it, but the RDC didn't care. In one smooth motion, he flipped the entire mattress onto the floor. Sheets, blanket, pillow, everything. Nick froze. Recruit Cole, the RDC growled, what is this travesty? Is that how they make beds in the North Pole, Chief? I've seen better folding from a busted lawn chair. You have 60 seconds. Make the rack, now. Nick scrambled, his hands shook, corners slipped. The recruits beside him tried to help, no assistance. Cole dug the hole, Cole climbs out. Clock's ticking, St. Nick. 10, 9, 8. Nick jammed the last corner in and snapped to attention, breathless. The RDC leaned in close, inspecting it slowly and paused. Close to Nick's ear, he whispered, "Wrong." Then, he immediately flipped it again. Somehow, the whisper was worse than the flip. "Do it again." Nick did it again, and again, 5 times. "If he doesn't get this right," the RDC announced, "everyone drills tonight." Stress thickened the air. They'd already drilled for most of the day. "This time," he said, with composure, "a sailor doesn't fall apart under pressure. Your actions affect your whole squad. Now move. We can be here all night." "Aye, Chief." Nick felt every pair of eyes on him. His throat tightened, but he didn't break. He slowed his breathing, fold by fold. Steadier, deliberate. This time, the RDC nodded once. Better. His eyes locked onto Nick's. "Remember this, Recruit Cole. Pressure reveals truth." Then he walked away, boots echoing like a judge's gavel. Nick stood there a moment longer, heart pounding, exhausted. Around him, shoulders finally dropped as the chief exited. Nick didn't know it yet, but that truth would carry him through what came next. Next time on The Quiet Warrior, Nick survived drills, firefighting, bed flips, but now he faces weapons training. Finally, he gets a letter from home. One that he didn't know he needed. Thanks for watching. If you are enjoying this story, please consider liking and subscribing. Your support helps keep The Quiet Warrior going. As this channel grows, an increasing portion of proceeds will support veteran nonprofits. Stories with Heart and Honor. By R.A. Hart.